Globally, there are about 250 million creators and 40 million full-time creators. What is interesting is that when you compare sort of the top 20 crypto adoption countries by chain analysis, and you look at sort of the active YouTube channels, there's a massive overlap. Imagine if, let's say, we had Mr. Beast on our platform, right? Like every YouTuber is going to want to use because Mr. Beast is using it, right? So that's kind of like our strategy.
Yele Bademosi was born in Ibadan, Nigeria. He began studying medicine at King's College London, but left to pursue his passion for technology. He taught himself to code, built startups in London, then came back to Africa to invest in others through microtraction. He ran Binance Labs in Africa, founded Bundle, and is currently the co-creator of Onboard, a digital money app for creators and builders. Today, he's one of the most influential tech voices in Africa.
You are not only happy with being an influencer and a creator, you want to create a platform to enable all the creators. So what's the motivation behind this?
I've always been a believer that this technology could be used for something that is a lot more influential and powerful. And this is kind of what really drives me.
Hello and welcome to Build It Up, where AI meets crypto, technology meets humanity, and East meets West. I'm Bill Chen, the co-founder of Cypher Capital. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation. My guest today is Yele Bademosi, a serial entrepreneur and investor passionate about expanding the on-chain economy. He is a co-creator of Onboard, a digital money application designed for creators and builders. Before this, he co-founded Bundle, a social payment application for cash and crypto, and microtraction, an early-stage fund-backed African startups. He's invested in more than 100 startups worldwide and was a director at Binance Labs, helping growing blockchain ecosystems. Yele, welcome to join us.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be speaking with you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the first question most of the audience will be very interested would be, could you give us a one-sentence introduction of Onboard? I know, this is your priority focus right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So Onboard is a digital money app for creators. We allow them to receive USD payments and stablecoins, and then sort of spend that in the real world through like a virtual card, and then convert that into their local currency at the best rates and almost instantly. So we're essentially building a global on-chain neobank for the creator economy.
The creators is on like YouTube, TikTok, or you are like platform neutral?
We're initially focusing on like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram as our initial audience, and then over time would expand to anyone that is earning USD, from emerging markets.
Awesome. So in that case, like how big is a potential user base? I wonder, like, how many creators over there? I guess this is a growing population, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I can't give like the specific number of like creators, but globally there are about 250 million creators,
Wow.
and 40 million full-time creators. And if you look at YouTube and you look at the countries that has the most YouTube channels,
Mm,
majority of them are in sort of emerging and global majority markets. And
yeah.
what is interesting is that when you compare sort of the top 20 crypto adoption countries by chain analysis, and you look at sort of like the active YouTube channels, there's a massive overlap. I
Oh,
never knew
really?
that. I started doing like the research, and I was like, that's amazing. So yeah,
Okay. So where is which country is the top one creator from?
India is number one. Then like the US is number two.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And are they mainly on video content creation?
Yeah. So mainly video. So YouTube is the number one. And then you have like TikTok, Twitch, as sort of rapid next places.
Yeah.
And so those are kind of like the biggest ones. But Twitter also started paying out people as well. So we're seeing kind of like a rise in terms of Twitter payouts.
Mm,
Um, so that's kind of like the distribution. Instagram doesn't have monetization turned on yet, but they've launched like a creator marketplace.
yeah.
So I imagine that there will be more value moving from these platforms to the creators in the coming
Yeah.
months and years.
I think there are two, sort of a transaction in the creator. The first step would be the creator got the money from the platform. Second step
Mhm.
would be the creator spends the money, to convert to
Yes,
the local currency. Which
yes.
stage you are focused on, or you focus on both?
So it's both, right? So they can receive the USD, right, from any of these platforms, and they can hold that USD, and they can then convert that to their local currency all within a single platform, and they can also even spend, right? So a lot of them might have, travel somewhere, or they might want to purchase something on Amazon or pay for subscriptions. We give them a card that allows them to spend as well. So yeah.
I guess you are replacing a very, sort of a laxing legacy infrastructure. I wonder, right now, if without your service, what is their alternative? I guess it's very traditional and very lengthy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll give you an example. In Nigeria, some people would get like a traditional domiciliary account, but they can only receive USD. So they
Mm,
can't send the USD from that account. If they want to convert it into local currency, they have to withdraw the USD as cash and physically give that to someone else that would then
money
exchange
exchange.
that USD for Naira, right? So they
Mm,
need multiple bank accounts, multiple people. Also, because these are international transfers, is going through Swift, it's slower and is more expensive. The
yeah.
USD accounts that we give the creators, they can support sort of local domestic US payments. So they receive the money instead of waiting, let's say 3 or 4 days, they receive the money almost on the same day, right? So it reduces like all these steps. Some people have friends and family that have a PayPal account, and that friend will say, okay, I'm your manager, and I'm going to take 20% of the money since you're using my PayPal account.
Mm, mm,
So because PayPal and Wise would block accounts from Africa, some Southeast Asian countries, some Latin
mm.
American countries. So with our platform, you don't get blocked. So that's kind
Yeah,
of like
that's where you're focusing on, right? Because you want to democratize the fintech as a service to everyone.
exactly, yes.
I wonder, what is your priority jurisdiction over there? Are you primarily focused on the Africa, or you focus on all the emerging market? What will be your top five, top three country?
Yeah, so India is very exciting for us. Nigeria is very exciting for us, and then Brazil. So we want to sort of choose. If I could add one more, I'll probably add like Indonesia as well.
So you focus on big population country, yeah?
Yeah, so big population, large sort of creative economy that is very influential in the region. And our ability to then off ramp that USD to local currency. In the background is stablecoin. So stablecoins, powers all of our infrastructure, but for the end user, it's just like a normal fintech app. Yeah.
And I understand, on top of that, definitely you will use a stable coin. And in the very beginning, you will use external stable coin instead of minting your own stable coin. Is this understanding
Ye-
correct?
Yes, exactly. So we don't see the point of kind of building our own stablecoin at this stage, especially
Mm,
because of, existing stablecoins have the liquidity,
yeah,
and we have, partners that can off ramp that into local currency.
yeah.
So our value proposition is more about providing that simple interface that these creators can use, and we're working with infrastructure partners to provide
Mm.
the the architecture for the service for our customers.
By tapping into the 200 million creators market, I wonder how big is Onboard right now, and how do you envision Onboard in next 24 months?
Yeah, so right now we have like tens of thousands onboarded already, but the goal is to sort of get as big as possible.
Yeah.
But our strategy is actually evolving. So we're actually more focused on, what we've realized is that in this day and age, going on the top of the mountain and making a lot of noise when it comes to financial services is not enough to convert. So we're focused on sort of highly cultural, influential creators and onboarding them almost in a sort of concierge and bespoke manner. We know
Mm.
that if we get the most influential creators in a particular country, to get on board, then the other, rising creators will be like, oh, imagine if, let's say, we had Mr. Beast on our platform, right? Like
Yeah,
every
yeah.
YouTuber is going to want to use it because Mr. Beast is using it, right? So
Yes.
that's kind of like our strategy,
Mindset.
which is
Mm.
to kind of focus on the most influential creators in the country and do what we can to solve their problem, get them on board, and they then become like advocates for our platform for the rest of the creators in their country. So that's our strategy.
Yeah, and I understand, actually you are probably the most influential thought leader in crypto from Africa, right? But sounds like, you are not like, only happy with being an influencer and a creator. You want to create a platform to enable all the creator. So what's motivation behind this?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a most influential thought leader, but
As
I've been
far as
working
I
in this
know,
space.
yeah, I think you are the top one.
I've been working in this space for a very long time, and I mean, Bill, you know that I'm very passionate about like our
Yes.
industry and sort of what it can enable. And I think for me, having worked in the space for a very long time, a lot of people outside of crypto still see it as a mainly speculative sort of industry, right? So it's mainly like trading assets and things like that. But I've always been a believer that this technology could be used for something that is a lot more influential and powerful. And this is kind of what really drives me, right? So the goal was to find a use case that was highly valuable and we could solve a real problem for an influential group of people. And if we get that 1% on board, then it's more likely for us to cross the chasm and get the next 9%. And once we get the 9% on board, which are like you know, the digital professionals, so remote workers, gig workers, freelancers, then we can begin to move more towards the mainstream, right? So, my thinking is like how Facebook started with just students and
Mm.
then over time expanded to everybody in the world. Creators are our own students, right? So we're building this for creators. We're going to go very deep. There are a bunch of problems, especially around credit and financial access, that we are also adding on top of this core, financial and payment infrastructure. Um, and that gives us a better chance of onboarding the creators. So that's kind of like, the why. Number one is we believe that your geography should not determine the quality of life or
Mm.
the types of financial services you have access to, right?
Yeah, which right
Um,
now it really matters. It's which is
exactly.
not fair, right?
Exactly, right?
Mm.
So we want to sort of really reduce the role of geography. And the exciting thing is that the technology exists today, but the way it's been kind of packaged and put together is still very complex and it's not as accessible. So we want to figure that out, and I think that's a problem worth solving.
Another further question would be, given that you are getting to the different emerging market, I guess, understanding your customer profile would be very important. I'm very
Yep.
curious, for all the different end users, retail internet users, creator over there, what is their usage of the stable coin? Uh, you know, let's say if in some certain jurisdiction there are 100 million volume of the stable coin trading, how much percentage is used as fintech payment? How much is used for, in trading on crypto? What is your view on different, customer behavior in those emerging market?
If I was to sort of try to divide, I'll probably say at this point, a larger percentage of stable coins are used for sort of B2B cross-border payments,
Mm,
although it's sort of more in the background.
okay. So you think that would at least contribute 50% to the global stable coin trading volume?
Globally, no. Emerging markets, yes. Globally, I would
Mm,
say crypto trading is still number one, right? So
yeah. Mm,
USDT, sort of like dex trading and like all that stuff, like stable coins, the biggest use case globally is still going to be crypto trading, right? In
yeah.
emerging markets though, like global majority markets, I think there's a flip where it's larger on the B2B even though these are going through exchanges or peer-to-peer platforms, it's still kind of like a B2B FX,
Mm.
sort of 24/7, always on liquidity, alternative to like a traditional USD banking system. So consumer payments, I think, is still a very, very small fraction.
Even for the consumer remittance?
Consumer remittance, I think it'll probably still be maybe like 6 to 7%.
So it's meaningful size.
It's meaningful for sure.
Mm.
If you look at even USD Swift payments, you would notice that B2B and customer to business payments are actually larger than C2C. C2C is typically around like 7 to 12%.
Sorry, this one you are referring to like Visa volume?
Yeah, like Swift.
Okay, Swift volume.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. And on top of that, I guess, that is why you want to focus on B2C volume first, right? Because the platform to the creator would be the one key use case you are focusing on.
Exactly, right. So for us, I think it's a combination of factors, right? Like, this is a market that is really underserved. And a lot of people are focused on maybe just even on the consumer side remittance or focused on B2B payments. My vision or my goal has always been, how do I bring the world on chain? How do we bring more people into this, more meritocratic and open financial and digital economy? So we want to solve stuff on the consumer side because we know that it's going to be very significant. You know,
Yeah.
um, so that's sort of like why we're focused here. So there's a bit of it being underserved by most businesses, but there's also kind of like this clear need, as well as
Mm.
a personal mission that I've had for about 10 years.
Yeah, I just pop up a side question. Given that you are working to enable the big platform with the creator, how about the big platform with the delivery, guy and the drivers? Unfortunately, they are not creator, but I think, they also tap into the big platform and the individual who work along with, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I think like for us it's just a starting point.
Uh,
We would love for this to be used by everyone and every sector. They're even e-commerce merchants, right? So for instance, if you're a merchant in India or you're a merchant in Brazil or Zimbabwe and you're selling on Shopify, maybe you're selling something to US clients or European clients, how do you receive those payments? And how do you get that money back, right? All of these things, there needs to be like, there's money movement involved, so we want to be able to offer these accounts to them as well. And it's like, okay, I receive my money and then I convert it to my local currency, and we do it in a way that is very cheap. It's kind of what PayPal was doing at the time, in terms of helping people, consumers, and businesses move money. But now we're going to do it with stable coins.
Let's pivot the gears a little bit. I wonder, you as one of the most successful figures from Africa crypto market, from your previous milestone, which one you think is your biggest achievement?
That's a really good question. If I'm being honest, what we did when we were at Binance felt like a 0 to 1 moment. People didn't know about like crypto at the time. I remember when I joined Binance, people were like, what is Binance? Like, why
You're
am
the
I?
one of the very early members, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was the first hire for Binance focusing on Africa. And so that was a lot of very foundational stuff. And then we bundled as well, we were one of the first people to build an extremely simplified wallet experience for people. And that really ushered people into crypto trading. What we're trying to do now is like a 1 to 10 experience, and it's a little bit harder. There's a lot more noise, there's a lot more distractions, there's like meme coins and like all these different things, and we're building like boring finance. However, I think like if we are successful with this, and there's a lot for us to be successful, I don't think we're going to be successful without like having the right strategic partners on board. But if we have the right partners on board and the right like infrastructure, I think this can be a lot bigger. You know, not everybody is going to trade cryptocurrencies, but people want financial services. They want better financial services. They want to spend less money. They want the money to be always available. They want access to credit, and this is, I really think like we're going to see how you have Binance that is like Binance, Bybit, OKX, these truly global exchanges. I think you're going to have global on-chain banks. You're going to have
Mm.
companies like Cash App, Revolut, Nubank, but built with on-chain and stable coins that are available in 100 plus countries. That's what we're trying to achieve. But
Yeah.
I think it's very important for us to now think and say, okay, who are we building this stuff with? How do we structure, to ensure that we have the right kind of like partners to really scale and create a defensible business?
Yeah, that's very well said. And after so many ups and downs, etc., like as of today, what would be your key advice to the young generation from Africa, who want to start their business, get into their career?
So I think like I'll divide it into two bits. So there is kind of like the advice as an entrepreneur, and there's the advice if you're just getting into the industry. Maybe you're trying to get a job. If you're trying to get a job or you're trying to get into the industry, focus on adding value and building authentic relationships. So, for instance, like if I didn't know you, Bill, but I came across your profile, I'll take some time to understand like what is Bill trying to achieve, what is he trying to do, but he doesn't have the bandwidth for. And I'll
Yeah.
cold email you and I'll be like, here's what I'm going to do for you, Bill. You don't have to pay me, but I'm going to solve this problem for you. You
Mm-mm.
know, if you do that for like 3, 4 people and you choose the right individuals properly, one of them is going to take notice and you'll begin to build that relationship. And that
Yeah.
gets you your foot in the door, right?
Mm.
So that's what I did. I've done that multiple times across multiple industries. And whenever anybody does that for me, I'm always like, that's like a very interesting kind of like person, right? So
Mm.
personally, building authentic relationships and adding value to people that you admire, that you want to be like in 5, 6 years down the line is the way to go. For the
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, I would just say number one, don't raise too much money early.
Oh, really?
that's that's number one. Yeah, that's one of my
This is
biggest
very
biggest.
anti-intuitive. I guess
Yeah,
most of the
that's
people would say, I want to raise as much as possible, make sure I have like 10 years run rate.
no, like that's probably like my number one thing. And the number two is sort of be very clear on who your customer is and make sure you know how to actually reach them. Right. So in this day, before there were a lot of products being built, now with AI tools and the number of developers, building apps or websites has become so easy,
Mm.
right? So people are, and the industry is quite mature. People have a lot of options. They have things that they're already using. Might not be the best, but for them to switch, you have to build something that is 10x better. So your focus should be more on who is this customer and do I have a unique advantage on how to reach that particular customer, right? And ideally, that customer is someone that is influential and can become advocates that will give your business or project more credibility. That's probably the like what I'm saying now are the lessons that I've learned from the last 3 years or 4 years. Like we started out and wanted to build this pure on-chain, very kind of like crypto philosophically aligned product. And you kind of realize that that's just not the way to go about building, you know, businesses. Like people, a normal customer doesn't care about what's L2 or blockchain or gas fees and all that technical stuff. They have a problem, they want it to be solved. And can you provide a better solution than the next person, and you know how to reach those target customers. So that would be like my advice.
Yeah, sounds like, especially when we get into the AI stage, coding or application capability is not that important as before. But now, like, you
Yeah.
have to build up your own economic mode, how to design, how to find the the demand and match the demand with the proper
Exactly.
solution, right?
Exactly, yes. Like if you think about it, like Airbnb, most people can build Airbnb in a weekend, right? Like they can build this in a weekend in one day, like just the technology itself. But what made it very difficult is knowing how to bootstrap that marketplace, knowing that you should start in a particular city, how to incentivize the supply side, how to reverse engineer a Craigslist to get more supply listings and even more visibility. Like those are the hard parts, right? So we're seeing that there's a lot, like the go-to market in any new idea is actually what has become difficult, not the building of the app or websites anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And also come back to your advice to the young generation who want to get a job, start their career. I agree that piece of advice very much. I feel like most of the mail sender or message sender, they always
Mm.
talk about what they want instead
Yeah.
of like, which is very funny, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It should be the other way. And also, like, I think the problem is people wait to reach out until when they need something. And I think like that is not the time. Like reach out to people before you need anything from them because you want to establish a relationship. So for instance, right now I'm not fundraising. And if I'm not able to figure out my go-to market for Onboard, I don't intend to fundraise because if I want to raise more money, is to accelerate growth.
mm,
However, I'm speaking with strategic partners who could potentially invest, but today they can help me with like my go-to market, right? And I'm also figuring out like how I can add value and how I can solve problems for them. So if you're a young person that is doing like a reach out, like, and I want to reach out to, let's say, Bill, I'm not going to reach out to you when I need something. I should reach out to you today so I can so we can get to know each other. I can provide value for you. And again, as I said, it's really about choosing the right person. So there's some people, regardless of what stage they are in their career, these people are takers. That is, they only take, they only take, they only take, they never give. Some people are more equal, right? Some people take, but they also give. Some other people give a lot more. So if you're reaching out to somebody, make sure you figured out if they're a taker or somebody that is like equal or at least give, right?
mm,
If somebody is just a taker, and you find out quite quickly, like if I'm helping you to do something and I'm providing value, and you've not even asked anything about like me or like what I'm doing or like not taking any interest in my career or anything
mm.
like that, and that's probably a flag, right? So that's why I said it's not about sending messages to 20 people. You have to take your time and actually try to understand that person. What have they put out? What have they read? What did they tweet about? And you can form a picture of like their personality, and you're like, you know what? This is somebody that I would love to learn from. This is somebody that I think I can add value to, and
Exactly.
they can also add value back. So yeah.
Yeah, in the end of the day, better you can build up a sort of a positive reciprocal flywheel of your network,
Ex-
right?
exactly. Exactly.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you, Yele, for all the inspiring sharing. I think that's all for today, the question, and I
Amazing.
really appreciate.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's been I always enjoyed our conversation, so it's good to have this sort of like chat on your podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Well, that's all for today on Build It Up. We will be back next week with another inspiring guest. Subscribe now so you will never miss our amazing interviews. Until next time, this is Bill Chen. Goodbye and take care.